Gorgeous humans, welcome back to my channel, Unique You. I am Kelsha, your Ayurvedic wellness coach and women's empowerment coach. Now, in today's video, I am sharing with you a personal experience I had with a homeless person that actually allowed me to change how I viewed that person in that moment. Now, I was on a train going out running errands, and I was sitting at the exit at the door. Now, a homeless guy came in and he was standing right over me, and he smelled and he was shaking. Now, my initial response or initial thought was to get up and move. However, because the train was filled, and it was overcrowded, I was stuck in the position of just sitting there with this homeless guy standing over me, and me not wanting to seem intrusive and start staring or getting up or trying to make him feel uncomfortable. I just sat there. Now, during this ride, I was listening to my teacher, Katie Silcox, my Ayurvedic teacher. She's an amazing lady. You should check her out. Now, I was listening to her. I was listening to one of her podcasts, and she was speaking about when traumatic experiences happen to us, our spirit, our soul actually decides to leave our bodies. Okay. And in listening to that and having this homeless guy standing next to me, not being aware of, okay, this guy must have had some kind of traumatic experience or life for him to end up in this position. Now let's move forward. The train moved. He was able to find a seat. Now, I continued to listen to my teacher. And in listening to my teacher, I looked at this guy and I felt so much sadness from him, so much longing from him. And then I thought to myself, this is what Katie means when the soul decides to leave the body. Because here I am, sitting, running errands, and this homeless guy comes in, and my first initial thought is to get up and move because I don't want to be sitting next to him. When I took a deeper look at this person, I felt so much sadness. And I sat there and I looked at him and I imagined him as a baby. And I thought to myself, was he ever hugged? Was he ever encouraged in any form or way? What happened to the baby? What happened to the little boy? Because he was a little boy running in the park, kicking ball, Maybe not. Maybe he was a little boy going through some traumatic experiences and his home life or family dynamics was not the ideal situation for any child to be in. So there I was sitting on the street looking at him, and instead of me looking at him as a homeless person, I saw a baby, I saw a boy, I saw a young man, I saw someone, a teenager in school, that moved on to college and had a life. And I wondered to myself, what happened to him that his spirit and his soul decided to leave this body? Because he felt like it was just, for me, the energy I got from him, it was emptiness, sadness, and longing. And then that allows me or caused me to start thinking about how many homeless people out there no one chooses to be homeless, I think. It's just the situation we were given, and some of us were not mentally strong enough to overcome certain traumatic events. Some of us, we don't have the support that we need to push us or someone to pull us up with them. And I was sitting there thinking how many times I allowed myself to judge a homeless person, thinking, oh my God, you could get up and go get a job. You could get up and do something. Not considering the mental and emotional state of that individual. So that really hit home for me. And I think it was me listening to my teacher at that moment, speaking about traumas and how our soul leaves our body when it's not able to handle the traumatic event that we've been through. So I decided to share this story because I would like for us as a community, as a people, to consider being kind. It doesn't take much to be kind. So instead of turning our nose up, or instead of a certain negative judgment, we can send a kind thought, a 1 minute prayer, a smile, acknowledgement. And if we can, give from a loving heart. Just give. Don't think about what that person is going to do with what you give to them. You're giving to them because you see them as someone that needs help, that needs a kind word, that needs some positive energy to be sent to them. So this is my message for you today. It doesn't take much to be kind, because at the end of the day, we do not know how or why individuals are in certain conditions, especially the ones who end up in deplorable situations. Remember, that homeless man, that homeless woman, that lady that, is deemed mentally unstable. She was a baby. He was a baby. Think of them as that younger version, happy and playful. Some of them may not have been happy and playful. But if you send that energy of happiness and joy and playfulness and worthiness to them, in that moment, it may appear as though nothing happened, but energy does not die. It only transforms. And you sending them that energy, it's going to affect them. It's going to infuse them. You may not see it. It may just send off a tingle in the heart and in the stomach. And you feel for just a second someone cared. Just a second someone looked at me and did not see a homeless person or a mentally unstable person. So please, just be kind. Peace, love, and blessings.